Hello everyone and welcome to episode 22 of the Spawn Point podcast. Now, of course, we're joined with Andy and Steve, but we've also got a special guest, which is Dalessy.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, well, you've got your own YouTube channel as well, so if you just want to, before we start, tell people what your channel's about and what they can expect if they go there.
Okay, so my name is Dalessy and I am a gaming commentator. I basically place my personality on my channel, so if I feel like I want to do something, I will go through it. So I like League of Legends, World of Warcraft, FPS. It's just basically my personality on my channel, really. So if you kind of like comedy or best bits, then go check it out.
And what's the channel?
It is youtube.com/MattD971, or if you just type Dalessy in the description, in the search bar,
Or
then
annotation on the face right now.
just
Click there. So we're going to stick to the format that we did last week, which is slightly different. We usually, between episodes 1 to 20, we talk about one topic and then just go through that. But last time we talked about several different things, and we're going to stick to that unless people start saying they hate it, which hopefully they don't. So, of course, this episode is sponsored by Virtual Gladiators, which are a server hosting company. Get really cheap servers for Minecraft on there, and you can even get 10% off using the code Vectra. So if you are thinking of doing that, definitely use that code. But to start off, gaming memories / moments. Now the reason I kind of bring up this particular point of talking about memories you've had of gaming, your favourite ones, is I recently, and Andy might want to cover his ears for this bit, I recently pre-ordered Halo the Master Chief Collection for Xbox One.
Okay,
and the reason for that is I played 3 and I played 4, but I never played the original 2.
No, I can almost understand like the pre-ordering of that because it is essentially games that are already out.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I
so
can let you off for that.
Yeah, but yeah, I pre-ordered that, and that should turn up either tomorrow or Wednesday. And that basically consists of Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they completely remastered Halo 2. And the cutscenes they redid for Halo 2, the best way to say what they look like and kind of explain is they look just as good as the Advanced Warfare cutscenes do. And that's for Halo 2, which is a game which, came out like 10 years ago. And now it looks like something that's brand new. It looks like a game that came out yesterday. But I never got to play those two, and I had such fond memories of playing Halo 3 with my friends and staying up late playing the firefight mode on Halo for about 6 hours and then giving up and just killing ourselves on the game. And yeah, I just kind of thought that being a collection of all the old games, it kind of brought back nostalgia. And I just thought, I wanted to know what some of your favourite memories are yourselves. So I don't know who wants to start.
I will.
Okay, Steve wants to start. Is it going to be COD, by the way? Is it going to be? I remember playing Call of Duty 4.
Right, basically, my most favourite game of all time, and I know everyone's probably getting really sick of this now, but Call of Duty 4 is my most favourite game of all time. It really is, like Call of Duty 4, and I never really got to play like Pokemon and all that kind of stuff when I was a lot younger because I wasn't really allowed to have a games console and stuff like that, so I never really got to enjoy Pokemon or things of that nature. So I kind of missed out on what you guys actually had. So
okay, but I mean, it's not a bad game in the franchise to be one of your favourite sort of memories. But what sort of brought Call of Duty 4 out for you?
Well, it was something that was never really touched upon. Like, there wasn't really a shooter out there that was like that. And I got into it, and I didn't really know what to feel, to make of it, because, it was something brand new, something fresh. And I just liked the community aspect as well at the time.
Have you got any standout memories of playing with certain people or, particular moments that you feel quite nostalgic about? Like, if you were to go back and play it now, is there anything you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember when I did so-and-so?
No, not really. Just meeting up with your friends online, really. You could have friends in real life and you could have internet friends. And that was one of the things that I really liked enjoying to do. Like when I finished work, to come home and be able to go onto the computer and speak to your online friends. And that was the best thing for me is at the time, I was having a real hard time personally, and to do that, it was, that was something special for me that I really did enjoy, and I really keep that close to my heart even today. Like when I meet people online, it's just that community aspect and the kind of, you meeting up online and stuff like that, and that still means something a lot to me.
What about you, Andy?
Right, now I'm trying to think of just a single memory. I think one of the ones that sticks out in my mind is if you cast your mind back, way back to the Sega Mega Drive, as it was in the UK, or the Genesis. Now, people might be surprised to hear that my granddad actually used to own a Mega Drive. He lived in Ireland. Unfortunately, he died when I was about 10. But I remember going over there and visiting my granny and granddad's house, and just sort of sitting upstairs in the spare room where they had the Mega Drive and the TV, and actually watching him play all of the Sonic games and being able to pretty much complete it without any issues. If we'd take it in turns to play, and if I had any trouble with one part, I'd just be like, "Granddad, can you do this?" And he would quite happily.
He's like an actual living cheat book, basically.
Yeah, he could quite happily do any of the levels, get any of the sort of special stages with the Chaos Emeralds. He was just completely all over it, and I think that's one of my fondest memories in gaming, personally.
What about you, Dalessy?
My fondest memories. There's quite a few. Basically, my life has been on the internet. So I played games. It was mainly Call of Duty. I'm surprised that how big it was when I was younger. But I used to play.
I'm just interested to know. Did you come in? What was your entry point of that series? Was it very early on, or was it?
It was probably between halfway through Call of Duty 4 releasing. So. It was was it about 2007 sort of time?
Yeah,
so I was around about 10, 11. And I used to play a lot of MLG games. So I was quite actually popular for my age when I used to play on the Xbox 360. So I'd go to LAN events and all that sort of stuff. And it was pretty big for me back then because I was so young. And there wasn't like a limit on how old you had to be to play in these sorts of tournaments. So it was basically just winning just one tournament. Even though I didn't get the money because of my age, but it was just the fact that I could stand there and say, "Yeah, I'm good at this game," and I could spend it with my friends, and we just had fun doing that. So
I mean, it's funny you say that because I was sort of thinking back more. For me, it has like different eras in a way. Like there was like the handheld era when I used to play like on the original Pokemon games. Like I think. When Pokemon Red and Blue came out, I must have been like 6 or 7 years old, and I just remember like beady-eyed kid just staring through like in like game stores they used to have like pre-owned like cartridges, and they used to have them in like a glass case, and I would just be like peering through, like my head's like right up against the glass, like, oh, I want that, and it wasn't even that expensive, but I still couldn't like afford it because I don't have a job at that age. But like yeah, that was one. But then yeah, going back to like Call of Duty, I mean. More so in the last few years, even with Halo actually. It started with Halo. I got involved with like a clan gaming community type thing, which is now known as a YouTuber in a way because he kind of took the name. People who know KSI, he used to be a part of a clan called KSI, which I was in at the same time as him, which is a little bit weird. And then he kind of left that and went on and made a channel, made that his kind of name. But when I was actually in that community, I was doing a lot of stuff like game battles and a lot of competitive stuff. And it gets quite depressing for me when I play more recent games because I absolutely suck at like Advanced Warfare compared to what I used to be. Like I used to be like such a tryhard, and I used to just be like, I would be doing like constant matches of like 40 kills on like a team deathmatch, 40 kills to like one death, and I just go on rampages and just obliterate the whole battlefield. And like now I can't do that. I don't know if it's just like I don't care as much. I think it's partly to do with that. Because when I was at school, everyone was like, I talked briefly about how I got into Call of Duty before, but it was a case of like, everyone was like, oh, what's your KD ratio? Like, when really what matters is win-loss ratio. That's more important. Like, do you actually win the game? But back then, that was like almost like your reputation. It's like, oh my God, like, it's so like low, mine. Like people are gonna like disown me at school. So you're like, quick, get it up. Like so. Yeah, that's something that sticks in my mind of just like the ratio just being like such an important thing to your like social status.
I would like to point out that when I was younger, I used to play decent first-person shooters like Counter-Strike. And when we went to EGX, they actually had Counter-Strike 1.6 out in the retro area. I was like, I haven't played this in a good few years, so decided to play it, and it was as laggy as hell as I remember it being. And I actually was like, well, I remember playing all this lag when I was younger, and I managed to get a really decent, like, 10 kills to 1 death.
Well, the original first-person shooter stuff I played was like Unreal Tournament. Like, that was... I used to play against... if anyone remembers, anyone watching or any of you have played any of the Unreal Tournament games, I'm talking like the ones of like 2002, and like the original ones. And you could set up like what like they now have in like COD games with like you can have AI. They had it back then, but you could set like the difficulty of different players, and you could have like. So I used to just because back then like the internet wasn't so great, and playing online was like a bit of an issue. I just used to do loads of like AI based things and think I was like God's gift, like I was amazing, but I was just playing against really bad AI, and like all the bots were just set to easy. And they were just really stupid, like derpy. They just jumped like around, not even shooting at stuff, and yeah. So I kind of went from that, and then it's not like that was my first ever kind of one, but like.
And halfway through a game, your parents just say, "Hey, we need to use the telephone." Like, I'm right in the middle of a game. I can't unplug it now because obviously you used to have to dial up.
Yeah, get that. You used to get a little noise, and it'd be like. I was like, oh god.
Talking about dial-up very quickly. Obviously, when I was growing up, we had dial-up, and my dad used to basically cut the phone on off so I couldn't have the internet. So what I used to do is when you used to hear that noise, I used to quickly cut the internet off when he was on the internet. And to load a page used to take about 5 minutes just to load one page. But you know that was just I
remember when you used to be able to sit there for like I don't know, it would take 2 minutes to load a picture because it would do one line at a time, and it would just kind of gradually, and you'd be like it's just. But that was really good back then, and it's like if that took that long, it just. But yeah, like moving.
How did anyone watch porn back in the day?
Yeah. On that disgusting note, let's move on to something also 18 rated. A little bit of a segue there. To GTA. Now, it's going to be remastered for PS4, Xbox One. Been delayed for PC because it just has. But it's going to have a first-person mode, which they actually have shown in trailers, and they've shown gameplay of it. What are your thoughts about this first-person? Is it something that you'd quite like to try out? Do you think it would ruin the game? Like, where's everyone at with this?
I think Steve's probably the one that's played the most out of GTA 5.
Probably.
So what's your opinion, Steve?
What, from moving it over to
a first person?
Well, yeah. So you can have third person and first person, I believe.
Yeah,
but what do you think about it?
No, I kind of think GTA. I always remember GTA as really being in the third person. To be honest, like for a first person for GTA for me would be something that I wouldn't be used to. I mean. I play my games. I couldn't imagine myself playing Call of Duty in third person, for example. So if they put that in third person, I'd be like, wow, I can't play this.
You should play some of the Rainbow Six games. They're in third person.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's basically a third person COD.
Yeah, but I couldn't imagine really playing GTA 5 in first person. It wouldn't seem right because I've always been used to playing GTA in third. So, it'd just be really weird.
Does everyone else feel the same way, or?
I kind of feel the opposite way. Having first person on GTA, the mods that are going to be out for it, it's just going to be so many mods. It's going to be amazing. So I'm actually really excited for that to come out for PC and have hands on to see what sort of mods people are going to actually do for first person. And I think it's going to be really, really good. And
it's a very kind of I think it's amazing how you just switch from one field of view to another, and it feels so different. Like when I watch like the trailer and the cars are skidding round like the roads, and they get out of the cars and you're shooting. It feels a little bit like Call of Duty's just been moved, or any first-person shooter game has been moved into GTA, and you're running around with a gun. Like it's very surreal. I think the best word is surreal to really explain it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the footage, and that's the first thing that I thought. It was like, oh, it just looks like Call of Duty almost. But I mean, it's nice that they're giving people the option to play it in first person mode, and I actually think it might be better for like some of the vehicle scenes, or when you're driving the vehicles.
The planes, for example, the planes looked like you were looking in the cockpit and you're looking to the right and the guy's holding onto the wing. And I remember playing that scene on third person, and it didn't have the same effect of me looking at it in first person, being in that cockpit and being like, I got to shake this guy off the wing. You know, I think it could. Some people probably worry because it's like a very big gimmick, and that you would just switch to it for a little while and then switch back.
I mean, like I said, I think the vehicle scenes, I think they suit first person, but the rest of it, I don't think that it sort of suits the genre. If that makes any sense, because with the last one, really, it was just sort of a bit more super serial than the other ones. But I think it's more of a light-hearted-ish. It's not really light-hearted, but it's not 100% serious. And I don't know. I just feel like that first person just detracts from it a bit.
I think I could have fun with it for about 20 minutes, and I feel like, okay, I've had my fun. Now it's time to switch back. I don't know. I think it's just so used to all of the games just being, well, originally they weren't even third person. Originally it was bird's eye view in the first view. You know, you kind of just looked top down and you would just be running around and you just see that top of your head and your legs moving. And it's kind of moved to third person since then, and now kind of first person. But I do think there's it's kind of, you know, good point made about, you know, it's suiting the game. Because here's the thing, if you're playing a multiplayer match where you're having to just, you know, kill the other people and you're doing it first person, is that a point where it just becomes Call of Duty, GTA style, where you're just first person shooting each other but in a open world? Like,
go on. No, go on.
I just kind of feel in myself that it ruins, like Andy said, the genre of it. Like, you know, I've always grown up with GTA, for example, of being in third person. I think trying to put that game into first person, for example, yeah, it might suit some people, but I just kind of think that GTA is in that area of third person for a reason. And I kind of think that, you know, for me, it would, in that plane thing where you got to try and shake the guy off the wing, that looks really good because you don't get to see that in third person. But at the end of the day, I still think that it being in third person is the way that GTA's always been.
In terms of first person aside, are you going to be picking? Are any of you going to be picking up I think I already know the answer for Dalessy. He's going to get it on PC because he's looking forward to the mods. But are you planning to get the remastered version on any platform or for PC? And if so, why? I mean, Steve, I know you already got it on PS3, but would you get like? There's a couple other upgrades, like there's 30 player sessions online, more songs on the radio, more wildlife, looks better, runs smoother, and they've added more content. But
it's more.
Go on, Andy. Sorry,
I was going to say it's more songs on the radio until they do an update and then take them away. But I mean, that's another story.
That's San Andreas reference. That's actually funny. Actually, there was a Steam update. Just off topic for us. Well, it's kind of on topic, but there's a Steam update for San Andreas, which I didn't think they still updated the game, but it removed 17 songs from the radio. It no longer runs at 1080p, and some of the save games are broken or something. I don't know why you would update a game that old, but
I think it was to bring it in line with. Didn't they recently bring out for iOS, I want to say, mobile platforms. And I don't think they've got the copyright to some of the music anymore, which is why when it came out on that, they didn't have it in the game, and they've just updated it to bring it in line with this new version that's come out, and it's taken away. But anyway, we're getting off topic.
Going back to buying. I mean, Andy, you have a PS4 and a PC. Have you ever thought about buying it for either one?
Probably PC, to be honest, and to make the PS4 even more of a paperweight.
Have you got any games for PS4? Can I ask? More recent this year. Have you recently bought anything?
No.
Okay. Just wanted to.
No, I've not. I've not bought anything. The only game I've actually bought is Ground Zeroes, and I use game in the loosest context for that. And
Dalessy, I'm guessing you're most looking forward to the modding aspect of it, like the modding community, just what they can do with it.
I guess that's the only thing I can see that's going to be good coming out of it. Just playing multiplayer in first person, it'll be good for a couple of weeks, but then it might just get a bit old. But it's just the mods, I think, that will extend this sort of aspect of the game that hopefully might make it a bit better. But I might get it. It's not a thing that makes me want to get a game, but I just think it'll be good for the community.
All right. Now another game, a game that was announced at BlizzCon on last Friday, I believe, and that was Overwatch. This is also a shooter. There's a lot of shooting going on in this episode. We'll talk about shooters. And it's Blizzard's first attempt at making an arena shooter. You know, we know Blizzard for World of Warcraft. We know them for Warcraft. We know them for StarCraft is another title, isn't it? They made StarCraft.
Yeah, StarCraft.
Hearthstone.
Diablo.
Heroes of the Storm. They're all coming to me now. But the thing, and credit, shout out goes to Unit Lost, actually, because I watched one of the videos on their channel. And they were talking about the game. And I can't remember what exactly was said. Said that usually when Blizzard, whenever they go, they kind of are able to revolutionize a genre whenever they step into it. They've done it with RTS, they've done it with MMOs, like, when they introduced World of Warcraft, people still play that today, lots of people. And people are wondering, can they do the same for, the arena shooter genre type? And that's why a lot of people are getting hyped and excited about the game. Now, a little bit of a rundown about the game. I did cover this in the news video for last week that's just passed. But it's 6v6 matches only. There's no more than that, because Blizzard think that's the magic number. There's 12 different heroes, and they each have 4 specific roles, which you've got like defense, offense, tank, and support. And then different heroes fit into those different roles. They've all got their own abilities they can use. Game modes, there's been 2 announced so far, payload and point capture. And they're both very straightforward, and that's so that it can be more inviting to new players, and they can also put more focus on the actual hero's abilities and the teamwork. Interestingly enough, there's no deathmatch. There's no games that require you to get the most kills, because they don't want the game to focus on how many kills you can get as an individual. They want to put more focus on how well you can work as a team, and whether if you can work together, then you can win the matches, and put more focus on the objectives, which is something for me personally. I can't stand when I play Advanced Warfare and someone plays objective modes and they run around just trying to get the kills, and they don't even focus on that isn't even the point of the game. It's like, if you want to kill people and you want to focus on that, do a kill-based mode. Don't kind of play capture the flag and then just kill people who aren't even near the flag for no reason. Don't go looking for the flag. Don't go looking for people. But anyway, that's another topic. But from what you've seen, obviously you've all watched the trailer. Well, there's 2 trailers actually, and you know a little bit about the game. But what are your initial thoughts when you saw the announcement trailer for it, and what do you think of it so far from what's been said?
the initial reaction that I had was it looks a lot like Team Fortress 2 in just the way it looks, and especially the game modes that it has. But like you said before, Blizzard has got its own way of sort of revolutionizing different games in different genres. And the characters actually seem quite interesting, in just the ways that you have the 4 different roles, but you've got just that wide variety of characters, and it seems interesting. But I feel like they've gone for a similar feel with the game in that respect.
I mean, Steve, you're someone who's currently at this point in time put over 40 hours on multiplayer, according to Steam. You've played ridiculous amounts of first-person shooters, and this game is an arena shooter. It's a third person. I think you can do first person as well. I think there's a switch between. It's just first person, actually, I think. But what are your thoughts about this? Like, you've obviously seen some footage as well. Like, are you excited at all for it, or would you look into it?
I wouldn't say I'm excited. I'd look into having a little look at exactly what it's all about. I would probably have a little go on it, buy it and see, and have a little play.
Well, that's the other thing at the moment. They haven't released whether it's or any details whether it's going to be a free-to-play game like Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm, or if it's actually going to be a paid game like Diablo or StarCraft.
Yeah, they did say they're not ready to discuss the business model yet when asked about it. So
I think that's going to be one of the important sort of turning points in the game. Whether like they do decide to go down the same route as Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm, and some people have referred to it as almost like having MOBA characters with regards to the array of them, although you can't actually upgrade their abilities in the game, it looks like. So they could just go down the route of sort of selling the different characters. But I don't know, I think it's going to have to be carefully thought over by them.
Now, this is going to be an interesting debate. I want to base a little bit of a discussion over a quote which was said by the game designer, one of the game designers for Overwatch, Jeff Kaplan. And what he said about, because they wanted to put more focus on the objective-based and working as a team rather than the kills, which is why there are a lot of people believing that they will actually kind of change up how the genre, is perceived. And he said that focusing solely on combat is what drives a lot of people out of other shooters, which puts them off, is that if you're constantly focusing on just getting the crosshairs over targets and killing people and that's it, then people lose interest very quickly because they need other stuff to do. So I guess essentially, would you agree with that statement, or would you highly disagree with it, or agree to a certain point? Like, what do you think?
I'd highly agree, because just putting your crosshairs over a target and just killing them it gets very, very boring after, very, very quickly. So you want something else to do that's going to be, you can put a lot of game time in, not just going, oh, wow, every time I play this game, I just get the crosshairs over this, over the, players and just keep killing them and over again. It's just a whitewash yesterday's game. You want something else that's going to be a little bit more intriguing to do,
I was going to say, I think that's one of the major issues plaguing the Call of Duty franchise at the moment. Until sort of Advanced Warfare sort of came out, it really has been just, everyone puts their crosshairs over someone, kills them, and there's not really anything else to it other than there are the different game modes. But like you said, in the different game modes, people just go around killing everyone because they can.
I've noticed it happening, I've noticed it happening less it still happens to some degree, but I've noticed it happening less in Advanced Warfare from what I've played. It doesn't happen as much as it used to, of people just kind of camping, and there's still people that camp. That's what fascinates me. You're given an exoskeleton suit that can allow you to do all these things and jump around and dash and cloak and hover, and yet people still decide to crouch in a corner and sit there. You've been given all these tools, and you're just sat there not even using any of them.
But I would actually have to say one of my favourite modes in the old Counter-Strike game was actually some of the gun games. So God, I can't think of what it's actually called in. It's just called gun game in CS:GO now?
I believe so. I mean, I played it on the original CS. I played it on CS Source, and that was called gun game on there, from what I played.
So I mean, that essentially was about the combat and getting kills to get the next weapon in the sequence to then win the map. And I spent hours on that, and it was also just the like specific gun maps. Like there was one that's just simply like USP or AWP. There's loads of different ones which is just a single weapon, and you had that, and then you went around killing the rest of the people on the map until you won it. And again, I remember spending like hours and hours at uni just playing those different types of game modes. So I wouldn't say focusing solely on combat is what drives people out of shooters. Some people are attracted to that.
I mean, Dalessy, how does the idea of not having any modes, like deathmatch modes, focused on whoever gets the most kills, does that put you off at all, or is that not bother you at all?
I guess it doesn't really bother me. When you look at a game like this, you can't look at it like a normal shooter. Like, to me, it is mixed with a MOBA. So, you've got your different champions and sort. And there's a reason why people like MOBAs, because there's just diversity. So you can't really look at it as, oh, this guy can do this, but this guy can't. And it's just the fact that because you've got different classes with different sort of champions and heroes, you've got so many different different matchups that you can do. It's just, I think it's going to be really popular, but it depends how the launch really goes on it. But I think it's going to do really well. That's just me. I think everything's going to do really well.
Would you be excited on getting it? Like, would you see yourself actually picking up
I actually think my channel might be based around this now. I hope that there's an esport that's going to be based around it, and I'm going to see if I can get straight into it, because I think it's going to be pretty popular.
I mean, the biggest selling point for me when I watched obviously there's the trailer, which looks a little bit like a Pixar movie, which has like the two kids which I think it could be a really good movie idea, actually. I did initially think when I saw that, but on the announcement trailer, when I was watching it, I was like, okay, cool, this is, I knew a little bit about it before I watched it. I was like, okay, this is Blizzard's take on a shooter. And then I saw the girl that, I can't remember her name. She has two pistols at the beginning.
Tracer,
that's it.
Yeah. God, you're all over this.
And she runs out there, and then she's about to get taken out, and then she like reverses. She's like, "Oh, let's try that again." And I was like, "Oh my god, that was so awesome!" Like, she reverses all the way back to where she was before. Like, and just, I don't know. It was such a well done trailer. Just
yeah.
Obviously, that's marketing, but like, it's really hard not. For me, when I watched it, it was really hard not to get not even a little bit excited for it, because marketing is very effective. But just all these ideas are flooding in my head, like, oh, I could do this, like I could use this like this hero, and I could, all the different plays in my head of what I could do. Of like, well, if I was in this situation, I could do that or this, and it just kind of built up a bit of excitement for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at any of Blizzard's trailers, they do them really well, and that is they just make them so well. But it does look like it's going to be interesting in the fact that you were saying, Dalessy, about this sort of different champions, and like there's the one that can turn into like a gun emplacement, and there are just like some interesting characters that it looks like the game will have, and whether they sort of expand on that as the game sort of progresses, I think that might be one of the things that's going to be bringing people back.
Does anyone here reckon it will? What I want to know, who actually thinks this won't be a free to play? Does everyone think this will or won't be? Because they haven't discussed it yet, but I reckon it probably will be free to play, just based on the way it's been advertised and the type of game it is. It's similar to a MOBA, like you said, Dalessy. Yeah. It's got that kind of feel to it, and a lot of, most of those, I think all MOBAs really are all free to play. So I kind of think it's going that direction. But does anyone here think it will be a standalone price? You pay that and then that's it, or?
I was just going to say I think it probably will be a free to play because I assume the main competition that they're trying to go up against is Team Fortress, which is currently a team to play in, and it is meant to be
I'd say
it's more
probably going just head to head with MOBAs and arena shooters, really. Like,
I don't
I'd
know
say-
because there's not really any upgradable traits in that's one of the sort of things with a MOBA. You get your champion, and then as you go through and progress through the map, then you upgrade all of the traits in it. Whereas this one is
you
just have the traits.
If you look at Smite, for example, that is a very similar. It's a third person, not a click based. You control the character. Third person. It's a little bit like an arena shooter without any guns. But you have gods in Smite. So you have, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, like Anubis or something, for example, like Egyptian gods. And they can, like, throw spikes at you or do, like, ice blasts or any stuff like that. And I think they're trying to cover all bases, really. I think they're want to get themselves known in two different genres at once. Because it's not a traditional genre shooter, really. It's more, it doesn't, it takes a leaf out of different genres, really. And I think they're just trying to cover bases. Obviously, you might think different, but I can see them trying to, in some way, a nod towards Smite, like, look, we want people to play this instead. Not so much stuff like League of Legends, because that is probably very far away from what Overwatch will be, because it's click based, it's not third person, it's kind of point down view. You can upgrade your points, there's a shop, but
I think the one thing that they both have together, which this is what I think is going to happen, is they've got I think there's 12 champions at the moment. When the game releases, you probably have a couple. You might have to unlock them. But I think what they'll mainly do will be unlock these champions throughout time, what League of Legends do, and say, this champion's going to be coming out in this week. You can pay this amount in-game purchase or actual money. And I think they'll make quite a lot either through skins, if they do skins, or, lots of new champions. But, I honestly do think it'll be free to play, but they'll make their money through either skins or new champions, kind of like League of Legends in a way.
Well, I think, did they not say that they weren't going to do skins because that was too... they definitely said something about that. I'm just going to...
They might just introduce more characters, though, more champions, more heroes, more,
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can sign up for the beta right now for free. You can just go on to, if you haven't already got a Blizzard account, you can go on there and you can just click sign up for beta. I signed up the day that it was announced. I don't know how they're going to do. I don't know if it's going to be just first come first serve, or I would assume it is.
Well, what they've done in the past with Hearthstone and Heroes is it's come out in the States first, and then
right. So just based on country,
trickled through to us, yeah. So I assume they're going to do the same there.
Yeah, I think from what I've heard from Steve, he's kind of interested to see how it will turn out, but he's not I really can't wait for this game to come out.
I'm sitting on the fence.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the fence to see exactly what it's like, see what the reviews are like, and then I'll make my decision from there. I can't really say I'm really excited for it to come out, because that would be a lie if I was to say that.
Are you going to sign up for the beta, or?
Probably, I might do. I might have a little look at the beta, and
I like how Steve's I'm on the fence with it. I'm not sure if I want to get it. I'm going to read all the reviews and see what it's like first. I don't know whether I'm going to sign up to the beta though.
But then you haven't really got anything to lose with the beta, really, have you? Because signing up, you're not paying anything. You're not.
Sign up to it, and then we can all have because I've signed up to the beta.
Dalessy, are you signing up, or have yet to sign up?
I have signed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all four of us are signed up, and Steve is on the fence, but
I'm on the fence a little bit.
Yeah.
Take a little look.
Dalessy thinks his channel's going to be completely based on it.
It's just amazing. I can't wait. It's like there's a champion, I think it's called Reaper, and his special ability is where he can just like do this 360 and shoot everyone at the same time. It's just like, why would you not want that? It's just, it's something new, you know. Blizzard, FPS and Blizzard, you know, it's something new, and I think it's gonna.
One thing we always talk about on the Spawn Point is about like. We had like an episode, and it's kind of been thrown out the window for me and Steve, I think, about pre-ordering games and the marketing of games and games being overhyped. Although, to be honest, I think the most overhyped games I haven't actually ended up buying, like, I'd say Destiny and Watch Dogs and even Titanfall. I did purchase Titanfall, actually, but out of those three, I didn't... That's because it came with my Xbox, though. It was a good deal, so... If I didn't get it with Titanfall, it would have been a whole lot more expensive because it was chucked in as a bundle. But yeah, but like, you know, it's so hard not to get carried away with, like, when you see the trailers, not to get carried away and think like, I really hope this turns out the way I think it's going to turn out. You know, but yeah, everyone sign up for the beta here. We're all probably going to try it out at some point. But until then, we can't really say much else. But any final words before you're terminated? I mean, before we end the episode.
I think I'm all good.
Okay, well, this has been episode 22 of the Spawn Point podcast. Of course, this is a new format, so if you don't like the way this is laid out, you do like it, let us know either in the comments section below. And of course, you can even click on Dalessy's face to go to his channel. The annotation will be there the whole time. So if you get tempted at any point, any particular pose, you think, I like that pose. That's a good pose, that one.
That's a good pose. We need to pause the video here.
Pause the video
click
here.
On that annotation.
Click on it just because of that. Go over there. And yeah, other than that, we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.